Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video I'll be talking a little bit about the legendaries and the legendary slots, where to put everything for 9.2, because it's going to be a little bit tricky, a little bit awkward, just like the domination shards were in 9.1. This won't be as bad because we eventually will be able to move everything around to wherever we want it. At least they did give us that option, but so we're going to look at this multiple ways. We're going to look at kind of maybe what the best end result is. We're also going to look at like the best way to start the patch if you're worried about optimizing that. Now, it's worth noting you won't get your double legendaries until week 5. And then the creation catalyst opens up week 8. So there's only like 3 weeks where the double legendary will be really awkward with tier sets and stuff. But let's take a look at this a little bit. So I went ahead and just made like a really crappy Microsoft Paint thing here, just to kind of show a visual here. So the black X through these things, that's just stuff that you can't put tier set on, and you can't have your legendary on. Now with the creation catalyst, tier set can go on any of these other pieces. So, you know, gloves, belt, legs, feet, rings, bracers, chest, whatever. Tier set can go on everything. Now there is a bug. People think it's a bug to where the tier set's not working if you put it on like a necklace, but they do believe that's a bug and that it'll be working fine for like that. It's not intended, right? So in theory you can put tier set on everything, and then eventually you'll get the memory of unity, which you can actually see here on the PTR. The memory of unity, you can put this on anything as well. So eventually we'll get that. I believe that's with like exalted rep. You might need another stipulation as well, but eventually you'll be able to move that around as well. But that's later on. So let's first talk about maybe what the best way to start the patch is. Now, of course, with the start of the patch, we're only going to be using one legendary because it's not unlocked till week 5. So you'll still, if you're Kyrian, you're a raider, whatever. I will mention a little bit of PvP stuff and whatnot, or Mythic Plus. But let's say you're a raider. You're just going to have Divine Resonance. You're going to have it on your belt. That's where you get the Covenant piece anyways. You're going to have Divine Resonance on your belt, and that's just fine for the beginning of the patch. Once week 5 hits, if you want to be ready to go, you know, who knows where you're going to have your tier sets at, right? Creation Catalyst isn't open yet. We can't move them, so who knows where we're going to have it. The red circles, just if you're wondering, and then I have a red circle and 285 here. Red circles are where the last 3 bosses of the raid. So this is potential 285 loot that you can get from doing the last 3 bosses of the raid on Mythic. So those are like high stat items already. So that if you're really trying to optimize, it really kind of limits things as well there. It's like another thing to limit. It's just another thing to keep in mind there. So at the beginning of the patch, it's fine. We're just doing whatever. We're collecting our tier sets as many as we can. We're just playing Divine Resonance if that's what you're doing, raiding, playing Divine Resonance, Kyrian, you know, sticking with that, you know, still 1 minute build and whatnot, or not 1 minute build until we start getting tier set stuff, just kind of normal stuff. But then we're gonna unlock the double legendary, and we'll potentially have tier set pieces, right? And then everything's gonna start to change a little bit. So I have Tempest Temp here. This is the 2 slots you can craft your Divine Storm legendary on. Tempest of the Lightbringer, I don't even know what it's called. Divine Tempest. But this is where you can craft your AoE legendary on your belt and on your legs. So this can be an issue right away because it's on belt, that's same as Divine Resonance. So if you're doing double there right away, like you're not going to be able to switch anything yet, right away you would probably want to do it on your legs. So you would have your Divine Resonance on your belt and your other one on your legs. Now this could end up screwing up a tier set thing. Potentially, it's also on a high item level piece, but since those are your only 2 options as of now it's also possible that this entire thing becomes worthless and they add to where you can craft a legendary and more pieces or something. But as of now, you know, you might want to have this on your legs ready to go, right for the start there, just so that way you can wear them both at the same time if you're worried about AoE. This is going to be mostly in Mythic Plus if you'd like to play that. There might be some bosses where it's optimal to do that, but anytime it's like progression and stuff, it never hurts to go single target base. You know, you're really only wearing this to do the most AoE damage possible. So since those are your only two options, and Divine Resonance, if that's what you're playing, is stuck on your belt at the start until we get the ability to switch it, you're going to want to go belt and pants there. Now, Magistrate's Judgment, MJ, this is the easiest one. It doesn't conflict with anything at all. So this one just kind of works out for you. So mine's on my ring currently. I really have no reason to switch that at that point because there's no, braces aren't any better necessarily. So I'll just keep mine on my ring, upgrade it through that way. And so Magistrate's Judgment, there's no conflict. It's not, there's a slot. Yeah, one of the slots for 285 is on a ring, but you still have another ring slot. So Magistrate's Judgment is fine there. It's also fine on the wrist, though. So wherever your Magistrate's Judgment is, you can just kind of keep upgrading that. I have Magistrate's Judgment, and I do not have Vanguard's Momentum. I have, I'll show you that real quick over here. I don't know if you can see that. Vanguard's Momentum. Hammer of Wrath has 1 extra charge and increases holy damage done by 4% for 10 seconds. I guess this one's doing pretty well as an overall legendary on the PTR as well. I have not tested that one at all, but that could be an interesting thing. That's head, feet, and hands. So the easy one right off the bat that you kind of see is feet is a little bit open here. So you might want to put that on your feet, again, for starters at least. Eventually you might be able to switch that, but maybe for starters, put it on your feet. Who knows? It also matters on your gold situation, right? You might not be wanting to switch everything around and buying pieces and stuff like that, which is fine as well. But feet's kind of a safe one for Vanguard's Momentum. But Magistrate's Judgment, we have ring, we have bracers, both are fine, not really conflicting with anything. Final Verdict becomes an issue in a different way than Tempest. So this is going to be the straight single target legendary. And then we have Cloak and Chest. So both of these conflict with 285 end of raid loot. So pretty much either of them is fine. Item level, like it's going to be the same item level upgrade on either. You might still get technically more stats from the chest. I got to think of how that works, but you might get like a couple more strength or whatever from the chest by having it on the chest. But that could conflict with your tier set. So what I'm actually going to do, I have mine on my chest already. Now this also is useful for PvP, right? Final Verdict's a very good PvP legendary. I know it's not what everyone uses, but it counteracts disarm. It gives you a ranged power ability to use as well. So it is a really good PvP legendary. So Final Verdict, and I think that's what a lot of, if not all, but I think that's what a lot of people use in like higher rated arenas and stuff. So Final Verdict's a really good one. Now, if you don't want that to conflict with your tier set at all and not worry about it, and you're not looking to spend a ton of gold and stuff, you might just want to get that on your cloak right now, because mine's on my chest, right? So I think I actually am just going to switch mine to my cloak and not conflict with any tier set pieces that I might get, and just have it on my cloak. So that's my plan. Now, eventually, maybe by the end of the patch, the 9.2 drags on forever, and I have everything switched around to optimize it. But that's kind of where I'm going. So my final thing where I'm probably going to have my stuff is I'll probably put my Tempest on my legs. So that'll be the only one that can conflict really with the tier slot, even though I'm being safe. Divine Resonance will just be stuck on my belt until we can switch it. Then you can move it somewhere else, like bracers or something like that if you wanted to. But, and then have your Tempest on your belt, for example. So you could move Resonance to bracers, keep Tempest on your belt. You're fine there if that's what you wanted to do. And then that would just work out fine if you wanted to switch that later. But just for starting out, what I'm probably going to do, like I said, Divine Resonance on the belt. Tempest, I'm going to have to recraft that for the legs. Magistrate's Judgment is on my ring currently. I'll probably just keep it there. I can't really see any reason not to keep it there. And then if I end up using Vanguard's Momentum, instead of even caring about Magistrate's Judgment, I would put that probably on my feet again, just to be safe. Final Verdict, I think I'm going to recraft on my cloak. So me personally, I'm going to recraft 2 of these just to make sure I'm safe. Obviously, I'll still have my old ones. You can deconstruct your old ones to get some of the materials back. Again, if gold and everything else is an issue, you can get some of the materials back by like deconstructing it. I think you do that at the Primus guy in the Torghast or whatever. So you can do that. But for me, I'm going to recraft a Final Verdict on my cloak. And I'm going to recraft a Tempest on my legs. And this can be a bit annoying, but this is only really to optimize everything. The Tempest one is really the only one that's totally in the way here, the AoE legendary. And that's only because it's on the same thing as Divine Resonance. So when week 5 comes out, if you want to AoE plus use Divine Resonance, or whatever Covenant Legendary. Well, I guess not all the Covenant Legendaries are on the belt naturally. But if you want to do that, then you will have to recraft it to the leg. So this is like the one that I would definitely recommend recrafting if you're worried about it week 5. You know, if you're super worried about it, I would potentially recraft this one. It could end up getting in the way of your tier set. You might only have a 4 set. It might be your legs. And if that's the case, because it's head, shoulders, chest, hands, legs, I believe. So if you have it on your legs, then that just becomes an issue, and you just can't use an AoE legendary, use your Magistrate's Judgment or whatever on your ring or wherever you decide to have it. If you already have it on your bracers again, you can just keep it on your bracers. But yeah, this is definitely an issue. This is something that I've been worrying about too much, honestly. I like to kind of craft my own stuff, and I wasn't really prepared. I have like my final verdict that I can craft on my chest. I can craft belts. Since I'm a blacksmith, I can't do. I could have done bracers, but I can't do rings. So I always just have bought that one or whatever. Bought the piece for the ring anyways. So I've just had my belt and my chest really leveled up in my blacksmithing. And now I'm like, oh, do I need to level up more things? I have a jewel crafting character. Should I level up jewel crafting in case I need to move legendaries around, stuff like that? It's something I've been working way too much on, like farming ore and stuff like that, which is kind of lame, of course, but it is what it is. But yeah, this is kind of my thoughts on it. Again, I'll run through that again. Just again for the starters, what I'm gonna do. It's not what you have to do, but I'm going to plan on until I can move it or whatever. Divine Resonance belt, AOE legs, Magistrate's Judgment ring, and probably put Final Verdict onto my cloak just to avoid anything mixing up. And then as you get different pieces, as you get different tier set pieces, as you unlock the Creation Catalyst and whatnot, as you get the required reputation to move your Covenant Legendary from the belt if you want to, because you could just move that to bracers then too, like Divine Resonance to bracers, right? And then all of a sudden your Tempest is on belt, and you can put your Final Verdict on chest piece or something once you have everything situated around. But yeah, so lots of stuff that you can do and kind of figure out as you go. It'll feel a bit overwhelming thinking about it all at once, but the switching it around part won't be that bad because unless you literally get all your gear in the first few weeks, like you just have like insane luck and you're like, I have all this gear in my bags, and I'm gonna have to switch it around and move everything. But otherwise, you're gonna be waiting to get a piece. Like, okay, I got the neck piece now off the whatever boss drops it, the Dread Lords or whatever drops the neck piece. I got the neck piece now. So now I'm going to switch something over to that neck piece because it's a 285 item and I want to have a higher item level or whatever for it. So I'm going to switch it over to the neck piece. So you'll be able to do that as it comes. What's more important is being ready when it happens and kind of having an idea what to do a little bit for right when it happens. So that way you're not just smacked in the mouth with it when it becomes unlocked. So that was kind of the point of this video because it's something I've been putting a lot of thought into myself. So obviously, hopefully your ret doesn't suck. That's another main thing to worry about here. We're hoping, I'm hoping that ret doesn't completely suck. It's not looking great, but we'll see how it ends up playing out. Maybe we'll get a little bit of a buff or something. It doesn't look like anything's going to happen to the tier set, so maybe we'll just get like a damage buff if we're just super low or something. But we'll have to see how that goes. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel. It helps me out so much. And other than that, everybody, have a good one.